Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on your location. Thank you for joining us for this 9th installment of the Mini Spotlight webinar series. My name is Mārtiņš, and I am president of the American Latvian Association, the main representative organization for the Latvian American community. Simultaneously, I am a board member of the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce. We are a US-based Chamber of Commerce connecting Latvia and the United States, and we are a co-sponsor for this event. Today, we are highlighting the recent Latvian business delegation trip to the United States, which had stops in Houston, San Francisco, and Denver. Mr. Viktors Valainis, Latvia's Minister of Economics, who co-led the delegation together with Latvia's president, will offer his reflections on the trip. After which, we will have representatives from Latvia's largest energy company, Latvenergo, and the US-based National Renewable Energy Laboratory talk about their experience working together and their recently announced research and development agreement. Before we begin, let me say thank you to our partners in this series and to our viewers for your continued support, whether this is your first time joining us or the 9th. This series is made possible by a partnership between the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce, the Latvian Exporters Association, the Red Jackets, and the Latvian Investment and Development Agency. Thank you also to our corporate sponsor, Softtechnika, here in Riga, for allowing us to bring you this series from their in-house studio. In addition to today's webinar and discussion, we will offer an optional virtual networking session immediately following the program. Just stay with us until the end to participate. And with that, I would like to introduce and welcome our first guest of today, Mr. Viktors Valainis, who is going to tell us a little bit more about the delegation and what he saw, what he experienced, and perhaps what his future plans are now after coming back from that trip.
First of all, thank you, Mārtiņš, for this warm welcome. Thank you for Chamber. Thank you for Red Jackets and of course Investment Agency for having this opportunity to discuss in the spotlight about our recent visit to USA, and of course it's once again I would like to say thanks for every company who came with us, and we have to say once again there was more than 72 companies which came, so that's quite impressive.
The largest delegation ever.
Largest delegation ever, and that's 72 is just those who came through Latvian Investment Agency. Mm-hmm. There was more than 10 companies who joined this visit, coming from some different countries who were Latvian companies who joined to this delegation during the visit, which wasn't even in our Latvian Investment Agency list, like in this event which was in San Francisco, where we were having this startup companies, where it was like
pitching to the president, to the venture capital firms.
Yes. So there was some companies which was even not in our list who just went directly to that, which was very well organized event. So, but when I'm looking back to how it was very busy days. Like we looked at the numbers. There was almost 1,000 meetings happening.
Wow.
So it's quite a lot. Like there was at the moment what we have already. Like not only like there is well-known things that there was some agreements signed about production sustainable fuel. There was which was in Houston. There was some agreements which happened about chambers, like corporation between Latvia.
Memorandum of understanding.
These were very good things, but now we are having these replies from the businesses. What is their next plans and what's happening? Like there is already 9 agreements signed. We will see now very soon what's the amount of the agreements. There is 9 already signed, which came out from this visit. There is about 200 potential deals at the moment between Latvian and USA businesses after this trip. Which is information which is given from the businesses who was there with us. what's the situation afterwards, what's the outcome from the visit. So we can see that we set up very ambitious goals, but we can see that we are really moving there, and it shows that we have to set up new goals. I really like it wasn't even a week when we were back in Latvia when there was already American companies came to Latvia already to follow up meetings, to start deeper discussions. For example, Meta, one example, where we met together with the president in San Francisco. We went to Silicon Valley. We met heads of the company, and we discussed about what's the problem by these technologies which we saw in San Francisco, these self-driving cars. We all saw them, and we asked why are they not in Latvia? We have discussions already in Latvia about those topics, why they are not in Latvia. What do we have to do not only in EU level, but in Latvian level, but in EU level to support policies that this environment over here is welcome for that kind of companies to get those innovations over here. And I think it's very promising that we are moving and we are finding some good solutions and good possible corporations for the future. For example, in this AI Excellency Center, what we want to create, and those companies are ready to step in. And there was one very good topic that those companies, Latvian companies, even established AI association when they came back from USA. So that was even not only cooperation between Latvian and American companies, they even started cooperation between Latvian companies who were during this visit, because there was a lot of team buildings all the time, when they were visiting some companies together, so there was meetings between them as well. So I think there was a lot of bonuses, and I know that, for example, in Denver when we were, there was this very good lecture from the SAF. We are in SAF today, but in Denver we were in SAF office as well, and it was quite good that today we are in comfortable office, but over there we were in their building, in the middle of their products in the stock, and that was, but what happened there, this experience, sharing this experience, this story, actually there was few companies who already told after listening this, they are changing their strategies about how they want to go in the USA. They traveled around 3 cities together, and they were looking, okay, I would like to find a place for my new office, and where this office will be. And actually this last day in Denver, when there was this possibility to hear the real story about what do you have to expect if you're entering in the USA market, it really helped them to make the right decision afterwards. So I think it was very positive visit. It was a very busy visit, a lot of meetings. Everybody did a really great job. There is some really, I would say, some ambitious meetings was where we, even when we have discussions, for example, with the CalPERS, this pension fund, we see that there is coming outcome as well from these meetings. We already start to work with their partners in Europe now. And they helped us to arrange those meetings, and there is already happening, and we are discussing about large investment funds that they could launch over here in Latvia. So this is I think very positive signals between Latvian and American relationships from the economic perspective, and I'm waiting now for a chance to go again and to set up some new goals and to go again and to do next follow-up.
Yeah.
It won't start as it should if we will stop here. We have to move on. And it's not so far. It was okay. It was quite long trip.
Yes.
But still, it's not so far.
Well, that brings to mind actually my first question, if I may. So by all accounts, this was a very successful trip, but in your perspective, what were the key ingredients or factors that made it so successful that perhaps we should be repeating the next time you take a delegation to the U.S.?
I think it was common work between a lot of ministries, especially with the Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Foreign Affairs with embassy in USA. Involvements which was from the president and president team. So we all worked as a one team without anyone didn't push their own agenda. Everybody worked as a team. And actually there was one thing that the business was in the first place. We worked for those companies who joined to this list. We did everything what we can do to make for them this visit successful. And there was so many support from the Americans who lives in USA, those
the diaspora.
Diaspora. Always we are thinking diaspora. That's something that's something more from cultural aspect, and we saw how much they have done to save our language over there in USA, to save our education system, to educate our kids who are in USA about the Latvian history, Latvian language, and so traditions, many things. But in the same time, those people, they are doing their daily job. They are creating some really good businesses and really big business actually, and they are the ones who now can help Latvian businesses to entrance there. And there was a lot of help from those people as well who really with their advice we get some meetings which was impossible without that. And there was this you can see that America is such a big country that the businesses are running their life, their biggest economy in the world. They're not waiting that somebody will come to them. There is a very big queue who wants to go there, and there has to be there. There was this. I remember in one meeting they said the big companies are not answering for the cold calls. You have to be. Somebody has to say that it could be good if you will meet them.
Right.
And there was very good that those Latvian people who lives there, and that they actually give a lot of good advices and for our companies to get the right meetings, and we should improve that, and we have to move on and use these the chambers and because this willing to help, we felt it very big time. We felt this really good will to help those companies to get the right connections, and we have to move on in the same way. It showed that it gives result. There was some companies which I was discussing afterwards. They say, okay, we are going to different events, to some events where is there is this you are walking to some conferences, and there is you are sitting there for 3 days in your tent, and you are waiting for your customer.
Right.
And then after 3 days, there is coming two real ones. But over there, when there was organized that special meetings for them, they said they get 5 every day, 5 meetings, good meetings every day with really good connection, already, which could possible go out for real deal, afterwards. And I think we will. My goal is to organize next year again that kind of visit, to go to that kind of trip, and to keep push it, to keep pushing
momentum.
Yes, don't stop. Let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And there was so many companies who afterwards was said to us when they saw everything what happened there, the news they saw from the companies that they was posting, okay, we are here together, and they say, oh, how did I didn't know that, so they missed somehow. So I think next year there even could be the bigger delegations.
But if we were to switch perspectives and think about this delegation and the trip from the American perspective, what do you think was the biggest takeaway or maybe surprises for the companies that participated from the US side or the investors?
I think from the US side perspective, they were quite surprised about our technology companies, about their development and what they can do and what they can build. Even there was this visit to NASA, and they were like NASA was showing their successes, and there was some of our companies who showed even more.
Yes.
Said that they have done it already at home. So. And there was in the health industry with AI technologies. There were we saw how they were looking. Okay, really, this is happening there. So, okay, so I think there was very good impression, and this and of course, for example, this energy market and this possible cooperation with in the energy systems, energy markets. I think Mārtiņš will tell more, but this is one more very huge. Open doors which was not open before. Like we are opening them now. We're still opening them for this cooperation energy. If you solar, wind, hydrogen, everything that comes after that. There is technologies, so many places where we can cooperate, and I think we showed that openness for American companies as well. We get good replies afterwards. So. There is willingness from them as well to come and work over here. There was one company in energy field who said that they definitely will open offices here in Riga during next year. So, yeah.
Well, I think we are running out of time. I want to give you one last brief question, and I think I already know the answer to the question just based on the responses you gave to my first questions. Before you departed Latvia, you met with the delegation participants and you outlined some of your goals kind of in the short, medium, and long term. And you, among those, you mentioned that you'd like to see in the next 3 to 5 years a doubling of the trade between Latvia and the US, as well as, I think you mentioned, €1 billion in investment. How confident are you that these goals can be achieved?
I'm still confident, and like I said, before I was at home, I thought, okay, this is ambitious, but we have to go ambitious. When I was in USA for, I think, in third day, I thought already, okay, we should
shoot higher, even aim higher. All right.
Because this is the market which is over there. This is huge. For example, the pharma companies, when they thought they can, they're 2 pharma companies, they can double our turnovers, like just them, if they get what these possibilities will use, and from both sides. If the pharma companies, they can work with our companies over here to have production for the Europe market or other markets, like which could be from there. But these companies can sell their products in America as well. They are stepping in for the little steps at the moment, but if they will, the potential of the market over there is that's the biggest economy in the world. Like they have to think about their production line, how to double, triple them.
Right.
Like,
Well, we have to move on, but I want to thank you for joining us today. And it sounds like another trip is already in the works, so perhaps we will be talking about this again in the near future.
Okay,
thank you again, Mr. Minister.
Thank you. Okay.
And now, as we switch microphones, we are going to be transitioning to Mr. Mārtiņš Čakste, who is chairman of the board of Latvenergo, one of the largest energy suppliers in the Baltic states, and he's going to be talking about his experience and perspective on the delegation trip to the United States. Welcome to the studio, Mārtiņš.
Hello.
The floor is yours. Tell us more about what you saw and what you accomplished. I understand an agreement was signed, maybe 1 or 2.
Yes. Actually, it was not like a 1-year expedition which led to this agreement. We were in USA already for the 3rd year in a row. Actually, it started 2022 when there was this big crisis after Russia invasion in Ukraine.
Yes.
And we had to solve the issue with the supply of the gas. And actually, first country we came for knowledge and opportunities to get the gas was USA. We visited Houston, Texas, and met on a very high level many companies, and actually USA lawyers and consultancy companies helped us to get fast on the track and to find out how these supply chains are working and to do it properly. So and first order actually was from USA, from Cheniere, first 3 ships. actually from Western countries came from the USA.
Okay, great. Well, I understand you brought a presentation with us today.
Yes, I was I was asked to tell a little bit also about Latvenergo, and as this is Latvian, how to say, American partnership today, then we all Latvian who have Latvian passport are little shareholders of Latvenergo. So I think it's very interesting for every shareholder to know how we are developing a little bit, and that will tell also why we came to USA at the end, because this always story is coming together.
Okay.
And one important story is that Latvenergo already 85 years is producing green energy.
85.
85 years, and that started 1939, actually, still first independence of Latvia. This was Ķeguma HES built.
Hydroelectric station.
Based on Kārlis Ulmanis order. It was built together with the Swedish and Latvian engineers, 4,000 people together. And this was, at that time, one of the most modern hydro stations in Europe. And actually, 85 years ago, 15th of October, first electricity was delivered to Riga.
Okay, well, we're celebrating an anniversary then. Wonderful.
And months later also to Jelgava. And actually, today we are facing almost the same challenge, because we are now in transition of electricity market and electricity production going green, and all these big changes, also getting away from fossil, getting away from the dependence of Russia gas, etc. So we today have to make the same investments, almost the same importance as 85 years ago. So it has historical connection. And today we are the biggest energy producer in Baltic states. Actually, as you see, in the first half of this year, we have produced more than both biggest competitors together. And we 43% of our electricity we export to Estonia and Lithuania. So we have been quite successful, and there is also praise received last months. It's called NAMEA praise for being the best exporter in Lithuanian market. So NAMES.
Yes.
History again.
Right.
We are like providing with different kind of products now, gas, electricity, also insurance, and we diversify our portfolio in this way, reaching 30% of the Baltic market customers. So it's more than 1 million customers every month buying something from our company. Another way how we go into export markets and make this green transition in Baltic states is being the leader in electronic vehicles charging, and started we from Latvia, but already 2026 we will be very much presented also in Lithuania and in Estonia. And with this, we are actually market leader today, a little bit coming faster than the market, because maybe you have heard that with this green transition, it's not going so rapidly, and this moving also to electrical cars is not so easy, because we have to go to the middle class to have this mass movement. But anyway, we are investing upfront, waiting for that moment to make it convenient to switch to electric cars, and thus reducing these CO2 emissions. Looking forward to 2030, we are aiming at 2.3 gigawatts of green energy, so it's wind and solar mainly, and that means that, for instance, today our hydro stations is 1.6 gigawatts. So it's more than all hydro stations producing today. This we are adding to our portfolio, and altogether that means that we still will keep the leading position in Baltic states as a main energy producer in the Baltic states.
That increase, if I understand correctly, is going to be coming more from wind power.
Wind and solar.
Wind and solar.
Yes, because technically wind and solar is not overlapping. When there is a wind,
Right.
the sun is not shining, and vice versa. So it's very complementary. And for us, it's even most perfect situation because we have hydro, wind, solar, and also the gas. So we can make very stable supply of electricity production during the whole year. A little bit. So this year we have 140 megawatts. Next year 285, and then a lot of the projects are coming to the final production stage. So on 2026 we have already 1,000 megawatts operating and running. And that's very important because, as you all know, next year we are disconnecting finally from Russia balancing market, and then it's very important that we have sufficient production in Baltics, because today we are importing around 40% of electricity from Finland and Sweden. And that's why we are rushing a little bit to be as fast as possible. And so already on 2026 we have quite significant portfolio where half of this production will happen in Lithuania, which is also our biggest, second biggest sales market in electricity.
As I understand, you recently announced your project down there, the wind project.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
I can show you some pictures. So La Flore is one of the latest projects, and this will be the biggest and most modern, after a long time in Latvia, built wind power generation. It's in a peat land area where the peat is already used, so it's a very convenient way how to use this land, and this will be with the most modern 266 meters height. Can you imagine that height of the wind
height,
turbines?
yeah.
And that's how it looks like. And already second quarter of 2026 it will produce electricity for Jelgava region. And now Telši, this was announced very recently. It's in Lithuania, most windiest part in Baltic states actually. If you look on the land.
Yeah.
Onshore, and also very modern and even bigger wind power station with potential development even bigger in the future. But why did we had this agreement with the National Institute of Renewable Energy in USA? And the reason is that our future with the changing from very stable energy production with the gas and moving to totally renewable and distributed energy supply, there are a lot of challenges and a lot of unknown things which we have to basically ask scientists to help us. And USA is one of the front runners, leaders in this renewable energy, because you have this very favorable investment support from USA government. So a lot of things are happening much faster in USA. And also this institute has this very big advantage that all of renewable things are in one place. They're actually looking at this as a whole system and how to approach it and how to manage it. And just four questions which pops out is like a green hydrogen. Everybody talks about it, but we recently hear like a lot of projects are stopped or not developing, and will it come? When it comes? Is it commercial? Etc. etc. Data centers, we will touch it a little bit later. If you have excess energy, what to do with it? How to accumulate? Which is the best way to accumulate? Because everybody knows lithium-ion batteries, but there are very different other ways how you can store energy. Balancing, this is also coming first time for Baltic market, free balancing market. Also a lot of questions how to balance all this renewable energy and to make this appropriate. Touching the data centers, very surprising. These are from International Energy Agency data. You can see that already now data center electricity consumption is higher than actually electrical vehicles, which is maybe in a way surprising. And the future is going up. And for some countries, which when we were in USA, we met several data center companies, hyperscalers, but also the data center builders. I was meeting 3 data center building companies, like from top 20 in the world, and the scale and how fast they are now building this, it was amazing. And this is not yet came to the Europe, and you can see it in USA. It's already reaches 4.5% of the electricity consumption. But the future, there are several respectable companies which forecast, and some of these forecasts are even exponential. For instance, in Ireland, if you would look, then already 20% of the energy consumption in country is data center driven. So
okay, so even higher than the US.
Yeah, it's even higher. Yeah. Another challenge. When you have a lot of renewable energy, it can be that the wind blows or sun is shining and you have over-invested. And you can see in San Francisco or in South Australia, 0 prices and probability of 0 prices. It's actually can happen that all day when sun is shining, you have 0 price or negative price. And it's perfect, of course, for the customers, but it's a big headache and problem for energy producers, investors.
Especially if you're trying to recoup the costs of the
Yes,
construction.
exactly.
Of those,
and that could lead to the fact that you are not investing anymore and stopping investing in renewables. And that's also one of the reasons why you have to see and look where to find this demand, how to actually look for this hedging of this problem. And then, yes, we found out that this NREL is one of the most advanced institutes dealing with all these issues. They have done California 100 renewable going green. They have already started for Lithuania, make this Lithuania 100 plan. Also looking at how to decarbonize and go green in the future. So we thought that it would be very wise, because Baltics is actually have to be looked as a one market. It's very difficult to separate some of these countries, that we would also join this research and see how to make our investments smarter. Because it's very easy to overinvest or to not or to miss some opportunity. So and we are looking at different kind of modeling, how much solar we need, how much wind power we need, what storage then capacities we would need to balance this all out, and how to decarbonize our gas power plant and when to do it, because maybe we should not do anything till 35 maybe. And then of course this hydrogen and how that develops, etc. So a lot of questions, a lot of unknown, and then of course we are asking for specialists who have these big countries, 300 more million people, with a lot of development happening, and not to make mistakes, but very correct and proper investments.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions, but I know we also want to hear from your colleague from the Institute, from the Renewables Energy Laboratory. I think you gave us a little bit of a hint there, but maybe in bigger picture terms, what were some of the bigger factors that played a role in your decision to form this business tie in the U.S. and perhaps other ties in the U.S.?
Of course, I was actually in this trip, I was traveling to 3 cities. First was coming to Houston, GasTech exhibition, and there my interest was what happens with the green hydrogen and what happens with the gas, etc., LNG, and of course one tendency I could see is that this green hydrogen is a little bit struggling today, and the big gas companies are even stopping their projects. From, for instance, British Petroleum, from 33 hydrogen projects have reduced it to only 7. And that of course shows us that we also have to be careful and see maybe that goes more to the blue hydrogen at the end, which is actually taken from the gas, etc. And this was very interesting, and actually we found two Latvians at a very top position there, like Chenier, vice president, was Latvian.
Yeah, I heard that story.
That was surprising. Then in San Francisco, actually, we looked at these data centers because, as you saw, this is a big energy consumer in the future. And together with our these telecommunication companies, we were visiting different data center development opportunities, and let's see how it happens. Of course, geopolitics is not helping us at this moment, but we have to be ready when this stops, because I think our Latvia could be as a link to supply these services of artificial intelligence data centers to Eastern markets in the future, and I think we are the very good location and spot for that. And also about the startups, this was really amazing to see how they work with the startups, and that would help also us maybe in technologies which are at the early stage to find best partners, to find the best knowledge how to move forward. And then Denver, of course, we met the institute, but also I met with, for instance, one small nuclear modular company, Last Energy, which is making very small modular 20 megawatt modules, and of course this is also kind of future,
very trending right now.
But we have to think about it and be in a loop of that, and so that's all very interesting and important.
Okay, thank you. Now, for some of our viewers who are maybe contemplating similar partnerships in the U.S., can you tell us a little bit more? How long did it take from the initial discovery or research phase to the final signing of the agreement? How long did that process take, just so we can give maybe other companies an idea?
Yeah, first time we met, I think, exactly 1 year ago. And then we found out how they are developing with this Lithuanian project and what they are doing, etc. Then half of year went until we realized our ministry is going to be interested in this kind of research, or should Latvenergo do it itself, etc. So at the end we decided that we go it ourselves as Latvenergo, and then it took around, I would say, more than 6 months to come to the agreement.
Okay.
And when you already come to this agreement and find out how to do it, then it took 3 months of signing the agreement, because this institute is directly under Department of Energy. So it's state-owned, and where you have state-owned, it's a lot of procedures and legal issues. But I would say even with that, it went quite smooth.
So all in a year, more than a year, but not a full year and a half. Between a year and a half.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Any key takeaways that you would offer, kind of advice to other companies looking at a similar path?
I think if you are looking, because there are two ways. One way is when you go to and want to sell to America, and other is when you want something from America.
Yeah.
And when you want something from America, then their embassy and commercial department is very big help.
Okay.
For instance, for us, Gunter Switchman is some calls, and it all went much faster than than it maybe could be. So it's. On the other hand, if you want to go to America, then I would rather suggest you and all colleagues and LIAA, which because these companies, what we met also in San Francisco, etc., there was a lot of friends and colleagues on the other side, so that helps a lot, of course.
Well, thank you for that endorsement. Yes, we always stand ready to help other companies. With that, I want to hand the microphone over to my colleague, Kristīne Vainovska Twidwell, who's going to introduce our third and final speaker. Take it away, Kristīne.
Thank you. Hi, Mārtiņš. Hi, Studio in Riga. We are excited to continue this discussion, and so it is my honor to introduce Dr. Stradiņš. Dr. Stradiņš is the principal scientist and project leader in the Energy Sciences Directorate at NREL, which we've talked a little bit about, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Colorado. And Dr. Stradiņš has studied and worked all around the world, from Latvia to Japan. He has published more than 55 papers and holds 5 patents, just to name a few of his accomplishments in the energy sciences. So he's going to share a little bit about his story, and then we'll have a little bit more of a discussion on how Latvenergo and NREL has worked together. So take it away, Dr. Stradiņš.
Okay, so what do you want to hear first? How I ended up at NREL, maybe, or?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear your story and your unique Latvian connection. As I mentioned, I'm studying your background. You've truly been all over the world, so we'd love to hear a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I mean, I was maybe over the world, maybe following the trends in science, maybe, or my desire to be like in a science. I cannot say I necessarily ended up in the renewable energy from the very beginning. I was a solid state scientist and got my PhD in Latvia still, was the Institute of Physics. And then there was a, regain of independence of Latvia and so on. But economically, that times were very tough. And for science, especially, science simply disintegrated for a while in Latvia. And here I am with my newly received PhD and ready to make a big name or career in science. And what do I do? And so luckily I got a fellowship for 9 months to go and join University of Chicago. And there, that 9 months fellowship ended up in 5 years there as a research associate. And I got introduced with the material that was at that time very promising for future renewable energy. Nobody was seriously thinking about solar cells at that time. They were like luxury items, like people would put them on motorboats or things like that. Of course, calculators were also solar powered, but these were really niche market, very, very niche market. And that was amorphous silicon. And I had the honor to study that under now already gone Professor Fritsche at the University of Chicago. And he had connections with the company called Ovonix, which was made by this charismatic, like Edison type man, Stanford Ovshinsky. And they were producing solar cells for amorphous silicon. Their vision was that already at that time, that the solar cells should be as cheap as newspapers. They should be printed like a newspaper. And so I got introduced with that company as well. And then when Professor Fritsche retired, then I joined a thin film solar cell super lab in Japan, in Tsukuba, which is Science City next to Tokyo, and spent invaluable 5 years there. It was a very interesting experience, both scientifically and culturally. And I still cherish my Japanese ties very much. And then I joined NREL in 2002. So I came to Colorado, and even at that time, the future of solar was very uncertain. I mean, solar cells were expensive, gas was cheap. I mean, all the fossil fuels were cheap. And we really struggled to prove that, and many people around the world, scientists, struggled to prove that this is actually the future. And only around 2008 or 2010, it became clear that that is really, that picked up. And suddenly we get this magic number, which was $1 per watt. $1 per watt is like production cost of these solar cells and panels. That was a magic number that we were always dreaming of, and suddenly it became a reality around that time. And since then, when China took lead in manufacturing, then yeah, we have this renewable energy revolution, I would say, in a very big part powered by PV photovoltaics, solar. And of course, wind is another huge part of it and so on. But I should say wind is secondary to solar. Solar produces wind, sun produces wind, not the other way around. So anyways, yeah, so that's how I ended up at NREL. And I specialize on solar cells, and specifically silicon solar cells, which is more than 95% share of the market, and will remain probably for at least the next 10 years or more. But I'm also, I have also studied energy storage, worked on silicon anode for lithium batteries for 3 years. and generally try to stay connected with all the new trends about renewable energy. And especially with this renewable energy revolution that we are seeing now, I really want Latvia to be at least a regional leader of it, not somebody who just drags on the tail of the common trend, but who actually leads the trend. So that's my dream, so to speak, why I also tried to help this agreement to get signed, even though I only tangentially was involved in these initial discussions, and maybe hopefully just tried to put that agreement on some course that I thought was most focused and maybe valuable. But that's really, I think Latvia has a huge potential because of this already existing clean energy. And as Mārtiņš said, data centers, this is a huge trend. I mean, artificial intelligence is the future. Artificial intelligence needs huge energy to feed it. It's like a giant new brain that we are now growing, actually. And that brain just needs power, and it surely will grow exponentially. I can predict that, actually. And whoever jumps that train first will be the winner, actually. So we need to really anticipate that.
I think you mentioning, being even just a small part in this agreement leads me to a question that I would love to ask you. What attracted you, or more broadly, NREL, to form this business partnership with Latvia and Latvenergo?
NREL has a mandate from Department of Energy really to be a leader in the world in the renewable energy field, in all aspects of it, essentially. There's probably, not probably, but for sure, there's no single aspect of renewable energies that NREL doesn't deal with. And that includes not just the United States. Of course, United States is the main focus, and we really welcome now this renewable energy industry rebirth in United States, including especially solar. This has been like a huge boost in these new plants are popping up almost monthly, new announcements and so on, but also over the whole world. NREL has traditionally helped other countries to develop different scenarios on the ground, and also strategic analysis. And that strategic analysis center that Mārtiņš worked with, led by Jacqueline Cochran, they had past experience. They are also helped Ukraine, Kazakhstan, India, and other countries to better understand the ways they need to develop this future industry.
And you had mentioned about the great potential Latvia has. So my impression is that Latvia has many companies with innovative products or solutions in a variety of sectors. Perhaps they're not as well known to the US. So from your perspective and your experience, perhaps your work with other Latvian scientists, are there particular up and coming sectors that you feel are especially would benefit from the kind of support you're providing for Latvenergo via NREL?
Yeah, that's a question that needs maybe more detailed knowledge and answer. But I can say that definitely Latvian American Chamber of Commerce would be a big help in connecting that. Of course, coming directly to NREL would be one, but NREL, so to speak, doesn't. I mean, we are selling expertise, knowledge, and so on. And there are many ways that companies can work with us. And actually, I was also talking with Mārtiņš about that a year ago, that perhaps some maybe internships, or somebody who actually comes and for some time stays at NREL and actually works and networks with all the people, that could be one way. But of course, like if there are specific tasks that company wants to get like analysis or insights, there are multiple mechanisms to work with NREL. So, for example, Department of Energy announces funding opportunity announcements. These are quite big DOE-funded projects. Foreign partners are allowed. Granted, they are not, they cannot get a major share, but they are allowed, and under special procedures, they can be incorporated in such a project. I think that perhaps one aspect that maybe Mārtiņš didn't mention, but maybe also should be included, is that Latvia has really traditionally and also now potential in different products related to wood and agriculture, and how to connect that together with maybe hydrogen production. I mean, one could make a very good quality different products, maybe from aviation fuels using lignin and other things. So that's maybe one aspect that perhaps needs to be considered. Then, of course, if company wants to engage at NREL on their own funds, then there are, like this agreement, that's a big one, but the smaller ones can be also formed. They can be either involve IP that is licensed or without IP, that we simply perform a task that is strictly formulated. I think one of the factors is that these companies probably maybe need to do some homework and clearly understand what exactly they want. Once that is formulated, then it makes much easier, even if it is then later amended, but still there has to be a plan. And as always, it needs funding and investment. Nothing happens with that. So some funds need to be committed and wisely used for that. But
I echo that sentiment. I think that's the most helpful thing, is ensuring that your ask is pretty clear right up front, even from the Latvian American Chamber of Commerce perspective, that we're able to assist. I want to encourage our participants and audience to utilize the Q&A and or chat feature to ask some questions. Before I ask Dr. Stradiņš the last question I have for him, which is maybe more broadly, what advice would you offer to other Latvian businesses exploring partnerships with the US?
That's maybe not so easy question to me. I wish maybe Jānis Bergs could maybe help, because that's more business-like. I can talk about maybe from my side, NREL side, what advice I think. Establishing as many contacts as possible, that would be probably number one. Getting as much as possible knowledge from people who are in this network, like through the LACC, and me, of course, always willing to help what I can, especially maybe in connecting with renewable energy companies here in the US. That's something I know about. And of course, I can ask my NREL colleagues always to help if it's outside my field.
Key takeaway, the diaspora is strong and we are willing to help. Well, thank you, Paul. So I really appreciate your time and joining us and sharing as much as you can about this partnership with Latvenergo. I'm going to give it back to Mārtiņš in studio and see if we have some final questions for both Paul and Mārtiņš Čakste regarding their partnership and the agreement, to the extent that you're able to share with the group.
Well, I have a question that came in here. You mentioned this historic decoupling from the Russian electrical grid that's happening early next year. Latvia is going to be joining, or all three Baltics are going to be joining the European electrical grid. Does this represent an opportunity for investors who are possibly looking at the region, or perhaps companies contemplating opening up factories or offices here and thinking about their own energy supplies, maybe for AI or for a data center? Is there an opportunity there? Is there a risk there? How do you describe this historical transition happening early next year?
First of all, I would like to say that finally, because I would like to have it much earlier. But of course, this is big investments. It took, I think, 10 years to prepare for that, and a lot of investment is done to make it smooth and safe. But I think that next year will be a little bit challenging because a lot of things are coming for the first time. There will be 15 minutes market. The whole Europe is moving to that from 1 hour to 15 minutes bidding. Then the balancing market is for the first time. Then decoupling is the first time, etc. But with building all this renewable energy, what we are doing now, I think starting from 2026, it will be the best place where to start any kind of your green energy dreams, because I think a lot of projects will be built, a lot of projects in the process, and at that time I think everything will be stable and smooth, and hopefully also this terrible war will end, and then Latvia will become very interesting place to develop your business for Eastern markets.
And does that mean then energy supplies in Latvia for potential investors will be stable and predictable?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then the other question that came in actually was for Dr. Stradiņš. Mr. Čakste mentioned that NREL was already working with Lithuania, which inspired Latvenergo to pursue a partnership with you. How does NREL balance their loyalties between Lithuanians and the Latvians?
We work with many partners, and NREL has very detailed and precise procedures how these are delineated.
But I would rather say that this is opportunity, because as I said, the market is one, Baltics, and if they have this knowledge of Lithuania, I would rather see this as an advantage that it's much easier for them than to make better suggestions also for Latvia, not to overinvest somewhere, and how to make it more balanced.
Okay, thank you. That's it from me here in the studio, Kristīne. Back to you to close things up.
I do have one more question from our online audience. What is the market projection for H2 prices according to NREL? When the price could achieve similar breakthrough as solar cells experienced around 2008?
Very specific.
I don't know. I cannot answer that question about prices, really. But all I can say, I can echo the sentiment that Mārtiņš said about this green hydrogen, that there are some challenges, and hydrogen is a little bit tricky player here. We are still, there are challenges associated with costs and storage and distribution, and also policy support we have, so that's good, at least in US. But hydrogen cannot simply be used like straight away. So at first, electrolyzers are a little bit challenged, how to make them cheaper and more long-lasting. And then after that, of course, storage and distribution, but then how to actually get that energy back. So hydrogen cannot be just burned in the turbine, gas turbine, as a natural gas. There has to be developed special turbines. Hydrogen burns hotter and it's more dangerous. So the work is going on, and currently hydrogen is mixed with natural gas up to 30%. The work is ongoing. I think that maybe in the next 5 years we will see, and prices of course go up and down, but the technology is the key, I think.
But currently green hydrogen is like from 4 to 6 times more expensive than the gray one, and it's not expected very soon that it could come close to that gray or blue hydrogen level. So,
thank you all. If there are no other questions, I know we are a little bit past time. I wanted to thank our guests for their precious time and insight and words of wisdom. I know it's been an inspiring discussion. This is not my daily line of work, so I've learned lots myself. The Latvian American Chamber of Commerce is honored to be a part of this network and able to further business connections around the globe. I know many of the speakers mentioned that today. So if today's discussion inspired you to pursue United States as your next business opportunity, or if you want to learn more about Latvian business climate, please contact Latvian American Chamber of Commerce at info@latvianchamber.com. And we'd love to learn more about you and your business and how we can help. As shared, LACC is uniquely connected in the Chamber of Commerce that is kind of the bridge between the two nations. We would like to take a moment to quickly share and gather your feedback regarding the event with a poll that is just about to be launched. We're eager to hear your feedback, and this helps us bring the type of content that you would love to see. If you enjoyed today's webinar, we invite you to come back, and our final installment for this calendar year will be on December 10th. More details on the topic will be shared with everyone soon. These webinars are made possible with the great partnership that was shared earlier, but it's between the Latvian Investment and Development Agency, the Red Jackets, the Latvian Exporters Association, and Latvian American Chamber of Commerce. So thank you to everyone behind the scenes and on screen that's made this possible. So this concludes our official program for today. As promised at the very beginning, we are about to launch into a virtual networking opportunity. So please feel free to stay and make connections with one another. Once the prompt to join a breakout room will appear, please accept it. And then you are going to be able to get to know one another via randomly assigned rooms. Thank you again, and we really appreciate your time today.